Right now at 6, Joplin police make an arrest in connection with a Monday shooting that sent people to the hospital.
And it's going to be a hot one out there. We've got some clouds thanks to some rain well out to our west. We'll talk about that forecast, get you out the door coming up.
Plus, KOAM's Ty Park shows us how area families take some time to hit the water this summer.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning, 4 states, and welcome to the KOAM Morning News at 6 a.m. I'm Anthony Saviello.
And I'm Chris Warner. It is Wednesday here, halfway through this work week.
We just talked about hitting the water. Have you had the chance to hit the water this summer yet?
Well, I've gone to the swimming pool, if that counts.
That
not
counts.
My swimming. I don't have a swimming
Right.
pool. You know, I went to the public pool.
Yeah. But you've been able to get out.
We have. We've done it once so far. We'll probably, obviously we'll do it more and more. Because it's going to stay hot.
Yeah. You need to be able to cool off. You need a way to cool off, that's for sure.
You certainly do, and you're going to need it, especially by next week. We'll talk about that a little later. But let's just get through today, and this is a live look from our camera on top of the Cornell Complex, downtown Joplin. Sky's beginning to go mostly cloudy out there, still a bit on the breezy side. MoDOT camera 32nd in range line, looking fairly good. Again, a little out of focus, but it'll clear up once we get a little more daylight out there. Skywatch storm tracker, so the clouds, believe it or not, are in association with what is well to the west of Joplin, but into our far western counties, you can see a few isolated showers in Chautauqua County and Elk County out there, and that's really about it right now. We had a few others, but they have kind of fizzled out or lifted out of the area, and that whole complex, it was severe last night, much further to our west, but it is beginning to fizzle out, but it could still bring at least some meaningful rainfall to the far northwestern edge of our area. This is what it looks like on the future track. So we're talking Yates Center, Burlington, right along this line back through Greenwood County. If you watch the future track, there's a cold front that's stalling out almost right there. So anything that develops is going to stay right there. The rest of us, though, are at least in enough proximity to this cold front that we could see a little better opportunity for some pop-up showers and storms as we head into the afternoon and late evening hours. The good news is all around is not expecting any severe weather with this activity. Temperatures this morning, a bit more manageable, some upper 60s, low to mid 70s out there. And keep in mind, the last couple of mornings, we've had some communities starting at almost 80 degrees at 5 a.m., so it's a little better. Unfortunately, still will be hot today, upper 80s, maybe some low 90s, heat index values low to mid 90s, and we'll have those pop-up storm chances once we start heading into the afternoon, pick up some of that daytime heating. We do have some additional pop-up storm chances out there. It's also going to get dangerously hot over the next several days. We'll talk about all that in the full forecast a little later. Anthony?
Thanks, Chris. Voters in Oklahoma cast their ballots for a few races yesterday in Ottawa, Delaware, and Craig counties. That included the Republican primary for state senator for District 1. Michael Bergstrom beats out Houston Britton for the spot. For the Republican nomination for Delaware County Sheriff, Ray Thomas wins over James Beck by about 500 votes. Incumbent Delaware County Clerk Barbara Barnes once again wins the Republican nomination by over 1,000 votes. She beats out Genia Yeager. And the town of Bernice, Oklahoma votes to extend a 1.5% sales tax to fund city projects. Joplin authorities have released the name of the suspect in Monday's night's double shooting, and we're learning more about the circumstances. They've arrested 19-year-old D.W. Bryant of Joplin. Police were seeking charges for first-degree assault, first-degree robbery, and armed criminal action. Police believe Bryant shot 2 men on the 1700 block of South Annie Baxter Avenue Monday night while trying to steal marijuana from one of them. Bryant fled the scene but was found nearby. Bryant was initially arrested for outstanding warrants. Police later determined he was the suspect in the shootings. The 2 victims are a 19-year-old man who was shot in the abdomen and a 20-year-old man who had multiple gunshot wounds to both legs.
2 individuals that did have injuries from gunshot wound injuries here on the scene. Currently, they're listed in serious but stable condition.
Bryant has a criminal history for the armed robbery of a pizza delivery driver. Part of his probation in that case states he may not possess a firearm. Summertime for many families means getting out of the house and hitting a favorite vacation spot. One such spot is the Crawford State Park in Farlington, Kansas. KOAM's chief photojournalist Ty Parks gives us a bird's eye view of the park.
So Crawford State Park was originally constructed in the 1930s as a fishing lake. It wasn't designated as a state park until 1965. So it was built by the CCC, which is a Civilian Conservation Corps, with the idea it was a fishing lake, and then designated as a state park in 1965. Approximately 120 or so private homes in our park, which makes us unique. A lot of state parks don't have private lots for sale. So we do have the private land ownership, and then everything surrounding the homes is owned by the state and the park. So we have a beautiful lake, 150 acres, mostly used for fishing. We get a lot of boaters out here, jet skis, people tubing, just wanting to have fun. We have 83 utility campsites, which is either electric or electric and water, 28 primitive campsites. We have group use areas that families can rent out and enjoy kind of more privately and secluded from the rest of the campsites. We have beautiful hiking trails. 3 just for hiking, 1 is hiking and biking. There's a lot of history. We have the Spider Leg Trail, which is down by the hatchery, which holds a lot of history to it. You can see old structures from the original CCC camp that was here. Have 5 cabins to rent. They're beautiful. They're remodeled this winter, inside and out. People really enjoy those. Great view of the water and more secluded from the campgrounds, a little more privacy. And just enjoying the people. You know, we have the marina restaurant out here, which is really popular with people. So, favorite part, I gotta say the wildlife out here. Just coming out every morning, and you know, you're always met by deer, wild turkey. We have a few bald eagles that hang out around here. I just love seeing the wildlife. You know, we're a smaller park compared to some in the state, so we have fewer staff members, but the whole team does a great job keeping this place looking beautiful, all the buildings functioning for our guests, which is really important to them, to have access to the bathhouses, the showers, keeping everything just in good shape.
The Crawford State Park is also known as a quality perch and crappie fishery. Anglers can also reel in catfish, largemouth bass, or northern pike, just in case you're planning on for next year's National Go Fishing Day. That's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in your first 7 minutes. Coming up on the KOAM Morning News. Wildfires are causing destruction across the West Coast. We'll have the details on efforts being made to keep the fires under control. Plus, we'll hear the story of a Virginia family who can trace their roots back to the days of slavery. And Chris will have a full look at the forecast. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back. Topping Nation Watch this morning, TikTok could be under new federal fire and public scrutiny related to children's online privacy rights. The Federal Trade Commission says it has referred its complaint against the hugely popular social media platform and its Chinese parent company ByteDance to the Department of Justice. The FTC says it's reviewed a 2019 legal settlement with TikTok, formerly known as Musical.ly, over enforcement of the Children's Online Privacy Protection Act. The agency says it has found new potential violations. TikTok was fined and settled the 2019 complaint that it illegally collected children's personal information. The FTC says making these claims public is in the public interest. The Food and Drug Administration and a popular discount store are at odds on recall actions on some contaminated products. The FDA sent a warning letter to Dollar Tree saying the discount store failed to complete a recall of lead-tainted applesauce pouches starting last October. The FDA says 3 such products were recalled, but Dollar Tree didn't complete removing Wanabana apple cinnamon fruit puree pouches from their shelves. Public health officials say they continued to see that product on Dollar Tree shelves through late December. The FDA sent the warning letter to Dollar Tree and their product import supplier. The company disputes the FDA's position, saying it took immediate action. The CDC says 136 cases of elevated blood lead levels in children were confirmed in 44 states as of March. On an assault incident on 2 U.S. federal agency workers in Mexico is leading to the halting of key produce imports there. The U.S. government has stopped inspections of Mexican avocados and mangoes following an assault and detention in Mexico's Michoacan state on 2 U.S. Department of Agriculture workers. The U.S. government cited security concerns for stopping the inspections. A Mexican Produce Association says the attack isn't connected to avocados, but reports say organized crime often tries to illegally bring avocados past U.S. inspectors. Mexico says it's working with the U.S. to restart the inspections. At least one person has died in New Mexico as dangerous wildfires force thousands from their homes. This, as new and pre-existing blazes continue terrorizing communities up and down California. Ted Linder takes a closer look at the latest damage and ramped up containment efforts.
Hot and dry conditions combined with strong winds are providing the perfect fuel for dangerous wildfires raging across the West. From the north to the south, the Golden State is under siege from several active blazes. In Sonoma County, the Point Fire has been burning since Sunday, threatening communities lush with vineyards. As of Tuesday, crews managed to bolster containment to about 40%.
Generally, it's just hard work now of getting out there, those firefighters finding those hot spots along the edge.
Northwest of Los Angeles, containment of the Post Fire also grew Tuesday. The Inferno, which sparked Saturday, has burned more than 15,000 acres in the mountainous region of Gorman. One after another, helicopters filled with water dumped their loads over the smoky hillsides in Colusa County to extinguish flames from the site's fire. It was first reported Monday, but quickly grew to cover 10,000 acres as of Tuesday. The Arrow Fire, meanwhile, triggered evacuation orders as it grew to more than 5,400 acres south of Sacramento.
Not being able to predict the wind is just kind of insanity.
But New Mexico is also reeling from several destructive blazes as the South Fork and the Salt Fires tore through the southern part of the state Tuesday. So far, hundreds of structures have been damaged or destroyed, and thousands of people have been evacuated.
There are a lot of structures lost. We have no idea if we're going to even have a home to go to.
That's a look at some of today's top national stories. Here's Chris.
Yeah, we've got another hot day out there. Skywatch Storm Tracker, there's a few showers just immediately outside of our area associated with this cold front that's going to kind of stall out and bring slightly better rain chances for folks in, say, Yates Center and Burlington. The rest of us will have an opportunity for a few pop-up storms here and there. A quick look outside from our camera at 7th and Rangeline. Cloud cover from those showers out to the west, making it mostly cloudy in Joplin right now. And again, we'll have an opportunity for a few pop-up showers and storms as we go into the day. Otherwise, another hot one into the upper 80s and low 90s. We'll have another full look at your forecast, tell you when the big heat returns when we come back.
Today is Juneteenth, which commemorates the end of slavery in the U.S. for many African American families. It can be a challenge to trace their lineage that far, but one Virginia family found a way, and now their story is on display at the Library of Congress. CBS's Nicole Killian has the story.
At the Library of Congress, this sprawling family tree has roots that run deep.
It's the largest family tree.
The Blackwell's kinfolk tree was created by Thelma Short Doswell, a genealogist who traced the Virginia family's lineage, which counts Dennis great Arthur Ashe among its descendants, all the way back to its first African ancestor in 1789.
It's really unique for African Americans because of slavery, for one. Slavery did exactly what it was supposed to. It destroyed the family ties.
Family ties resurrected when librarian Ahmed Johnson showed it to colleague Mila Hill.
Did you even know that this tree existed?
No, I had no idea.
Who discovered her great-great-grandmother Mary Reese and brought a branch of her family to see it.
It's one thing to know your own family history, but to have it displayed in this way is really, really special.
That's a wonderful tribute to their lives to be able to stand here.
Growing generations. Nicole Killian, CBS News, Washington.
A happy Juneteenth to everyone celebrating out there. Now let's check in with Chris.
Yeah, we've got clouds building in across the area this morning. Starting our day mostly cloudy, a few isolated showers to our west. More rain chances on the way, although they are slight. And then the heat will return. We'll have another look at your forecast when the KOAM Morning News returns. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. 6:22 on this Wednesday morning. We're starting with the Skywatch Storm Tracker. Got a couple of stray showers in our immediate area. And as you can see, some heavier rain and thunderstorm activity outside of that, but not much going on right now. However, some of our friends, Burlington, Yates Center, Eureka, maybe even Howard, could get some slightly more meaningful rainfall as this cold front that triggered what was severe storms last night kind of stalls out right about here. And as it does so, it'll bring an opportunity for some repeating showers and storms over these same areas up here, heading in through the morning and into the afternoon. Now, the rest of us, though, are going to have an opportunity once we get that daytime heating for some pop-up showers and storms. But again, there's the future track showing where that cold front's going to kind of stall out and where some redevelopment is going to take place. And you'll have rain showers actually potentially even into the late evening hours. Again, the rest of us, though, just a few isolated pop-up showers and storms, and by the time we lose the daytime heating, those are gone, but some of that rain still could be falling in, again, Yates Center, Eureka, and into the Burlington area as well as we had late evening. We go into our Thursday, clouds will increase once again. We'll start partly cloudy, then go mostly cloudy. And as you can see, future track painting the possibility of a few pop-up showers, maybe a rumble of thunder out there, but chances are slightly better for pop-up storms today than they are tomorrow. UV index today is once again at an 11, which puts it at the extreme level. Burn time for unprotected skin, less than 10 minutes. So do make sure you're taking precautions out there. Heat risk potential today and tomorrow. We've got some minor out there, so that's heat index values, we'll say about 90 to 95, and then that moderate is that 95 to 100 degree range. And again, it carries into tomorrow. As we head to the weekend and next week, though, that's when the heat really begins to return. A lot more moderate out there. By Saturday, we're seeing moderate to major. And remember, major is the 100 to 105 degree range potential on those heat index values. And by Sunday and into Monday and into Tuesday, look at all that purple. We've got major across the entire area. We're seeing a lot more of the purple, which is extreme. So we're talking heat index values in excess of 105 as we head into next week. And once we show you the extended forecast, you'll see exactly why those heat index values are going to climb. All right, some quick tips on how to keep yourself, your family, your pets safe. Make sure you're doing the early morning walks with your pets, keeping them indoors otherwise. Keep your kids hydrated or keep them inside if you can. I know some folks, you have to work outside, so make sure you're taking frequent breaks, finding shade, and staying hydrated. And, of course, make sure you're checking up on the elderly. These clouds, again, all from the rain showers well out to the west. So 72 in Joplin, cloudy skies, southeast breeze at about 8. Temperatures this morning a bit more manageable than where they have been here lately. We've got upper 60s and low to mid 70s. Yates Center a little warmer at 77, but compared to the last couple of days, we had, for example, Neodesha and Chanute starting at almost 80 degrees at 5 o'clock in the morning just a couple of days ago. As we go through the morning, partly cloudy skies, again, maybe some stray showers in our far western counties, low 80s by 11 o'clock, and this is what we're talking about with that dangerous heat returning. We have those pop-up storm chances for a good portion of next week, including the weekend. But look at those temperatures, low, mid, possibly even upper 90s as we head into next week. Hence why those heat index values are going to climb above 105 out there. That's a check of your forecast. I'm going to send it over to Anthony with Health Watch.
All right, thanks, Chris. Topping Health Watch this morning, air pollution is not healthy for anyone, but a new study shows It can be especially harmful for cancer patients. Researchers in China found air pollution increases the risk of cardiovascular disease and death in cancer survivors. They say even short-term exposure to high pollution levels rapidly impacted those individuals. A simple blood test and the power of AI could help predict Parkinson's disease up to 7 years before symptoms appear. Researchers at University College in London say they've developed such a test and believe such an early prediction and diagnosis could be valuable for finding treatments that could slow or stop Parkinson's, which is the world's fastest growing neurodegenerative disease. And women who are depressed during pregnancy and after birth are more likely to develop cardiovascular issues in life. Researchers in Sweden hope this finding leads to more studies aimed at finding the best ways to prevent depression and lower the risk of issues including high blood pressure, heart disease, and heart failure. That's a look at some of your top health stories. We'll be right back. Right now at 6:30, authorities are investigating a crash involving a Jasper County deputy.
We've got mostly cloudy skies out there for a lot of us, thanks to some showers well off to our west. We could have some pop-up storms, though, today. We'll take a look at that forecast, get you out the door, coming up.
Plus, KOAM's Amber Jenkins shares how a group in Fort Scott is working towards beautifying the east side of town.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning, 4 states, and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's currently 6:30. I'm Anthony Saviello.
And I'm Chris Warner. It is a Wednesday.
Is it going to be a muggy Wednesday?
It probably, yeah. We're in the summertime in the 4 states. We don't have that dry heat like they do in the desert Southwest. No. And I've run into people from, Arizona, for example, who come up and, we're in the 80s, but then our heat index value is like at 100, and they're like, this sucks. They're like 105 degrees in dry heat is better than a heat index of 105.
They live in the deserts, and they're telling us that our heat sucks.
Yeah. Because it's that humidity, man. It gets you every time.
Yep.
Well, let's start with a look outside from the MoDOT camera, 32nd and range line. We don't see any sunshine on the roadway or the cars or anything because, we've got cloudy skies thanks to this. Rain well off to our west. In fact, just a couple of stray showers in our immediate area, but this was what was a severe thunderstorm complex well to our west earlier, but it has got some clouds leading off of it. See, when we put the satellite on, it just kind of stretching out there. It's a couple of stray showers to the west of Howard and barely reaching into Chautauqua County. However, because there's a cold front associated with this activity, it's going to kind of stall out, and once it does, Yates Center, Eureka, Burlington, you've got the better chances of seeing more meaningful rainfall as we go through the day today compared to the rest of us who are looking really at just pop-up showers and storms. So future track at noon, you can see that cold front boundary. You can see those showers and thunderstorms out there, and you can also see where they stick around. But the rest of us, at least slightly better chances of seeing a pop-up shower or thunderstorm as we head into the afternoon and early evening hours. Then we'll lose the daytime heating. We'll lose those pop-up storms. But again, our friends up in the northwest, you're going to be able to stick around with some rain even into the late evening hours out there. Temperatures for most of us better than where they have been. Upper 60s, low to mid 70s. We've got Yates Center as the warm spot, sitting at 77 right now. And as we head into the afternoon, again, for most of us, just some pop-up showers and thunderstorms out there. Otherwise, partly cloudy skies and temperatures still hot. Upper 80s, maybe some low 90s. Those heat index values low to mid 90s out there. Dangerous heat is returning to our forecast, and it's not an exaggeration here. We're talking very dangerous heat returns to the forecast. We'll break down the details in detail. That was not what I meant to say, but you understand. We'll get to all of that in the full forecast here in a few more minutes. Anthony?
All right, thanks, Chris. No one was seriously hurt in a traffic accident involving a Jasper County deputy yesterday in Joplin. It happened at the intersection of 7th and Main Street just before 11. Authorities say the driver of a pickup truck failed to yield at the intersection and struck the deputy's vehicle. A federal court judge has sentenced a Joplin chiropractor for receiving and distributing child pornography. Eric Hedman was sentenced to 7 years in federal prison without parole. The court also sentenced Hedman to 10 years of supervised release following incarceration, and Hedman will have to register as a sex offender. Hedman, who operated his own practice at Hedman Chiropractic at the time of the offense, pled guilty on December 14th. Yesterday was National Go Fishing Day, and some local anglers were out casting their lines. Kellogg Park in Carthage turned out to be the perfect spot to reel in the big one, or to make a real big fake story about reeling it in. If you have proof of your big catch yesterday, I know I caught one, but I don't have proof of it, post your pictures to social media with the hashtag National Go Fishing Day. The Carthage Chamber of Commerce celebrated a milestone for a local landmark. The Precious Moments Chapel and Gardens marked its 35th anniversary with a ribbon cutting yesterday. The event served not only as a way to look back on the chapel's history, but also to look forward.
We have a lot of exciting things coming in the future. We hope to build on Mr. Butcher's dream as well and to keep going with all that he's planned. And we have just redone the museum to tell the complete story of his life.
The occasion marked one of the first events Precious Moments has had since the passing of its creator and founder, Sam Butcher, who died last month at the age of 85. The inaugural Joplin Police Department Summer School Kids Academy came to a close yesterday. Participating 6th graders got to experience what it's like to be a police officer. The kids got to tour JPD facilities and learned all about the law enforcement careers, including SWAT and K-9 programs. They also got a chance to practice their handcuff skills on some police officers. Chief Pearson presented all the kids with a certificate of completion. Some Joplin residents added a little color to their wardrobe yesterday evening. The group Joplin Equality hosted a tie-dye night at Mercy Park. Folks were able to swing by with white clothes and turn them into unique kaleidoscopic works of art. It was open to anyone, no matter how much tie-dye experience they had. City officials in Fort Scott, Kansas are beautifying the east side of town, starting with upgrades at 3rd Street Park. KOAM's Amber Jenkins has more.
Beautification projects in Fort Scott, Kansas are underway, focusing on parks like on 3rd Street.
We have done a lot of work on the 3rd Street Park bathrooms in particular. For as long as I can remember, they've only had toilets in those bathrooms. On each side, they didn't have sinks. So this year, we had new sinks installed, just adding some things like toilet paper holders, paper towel holders, trash cans, things that we didn't have before previously. It was very bare minimum before.
The project is paid for with grants and with Evergy's donation of a 35-foot Wi-Fi pole.
So we would be able to control the bathroom locks and the security cameras. So we've been working on that for a long time, but it's wrapping up now.
According to city officials, 3rd Street's park bathrooms are set to open in a couple of weeks. Teenagers living near the park say it's just in time for summer plans.
Be outside a lot and play and go to parks and stuff.
Recently, a fire incident happened at the park, burning parts of the playground. The teens say the charcoal remnants are a reminder to take care of what the city improves.
I think that kids around here should be more respectful with the play equipment and not be disrespectful and just roundhouse around and destroy stuff. Definitely things could be much better around here. I do think Fort Scott is a pretty place, but definitely could be worked on.
Reporting in Fort Scott, Amber Jenkins, KOAM News.
The incident Amber referred to happened just 3 days ago. The Fort Scott Police Department observed smoke coming from a playground area. Fire crews arrived to find a piece of playground equipment was engulfed in flames. While there are no current suspects, this incident is under investigation as an arson. The playground equipment is valued at $1,000. That's a look at the top news stories. Coming up this half hour of KOAM Morning News, we'll hear how the summer heat can make an impact on your budget. Plus, Chris will have another look at your forecast. You're watching KOAM Morning News. In Consumer Watch this morning, with millions of Americans under heat alerts this week, households and businesses might want to think about how extreme heat could impact their bottom line. Karen Kafa is in Washington with a look at some of the numbers and ways for households to safely cut costs.
Right now, from the wildfires out west to high temperatures ranging from Iowa to Maine, in addition to health and safety precautions, there is a rising economic toll of these extended heat waves to keep in mind.
Extreme heat is becoming more frequent and more costly.
We would never think about planning for wildfire season or hurricane season just during those seasons.
Ashley Ward of the Duke University Heat Policy Innovation Hub says that these punishing heat waves make it more expensive to cool a home.
When temperatures overnight don't fall below 75 degrees, for example, it doesn't give the body or any living thing or our energy systems time to recover from that daytime exposure.
David Tinsley, senior economist for the Bank of America Institute, says their analysis found higher average temperatures boosting consumers' average monthly utility payments by 23% since 2019.
All the data is suggesting that these heat waves are hotter and are lasting longer. And so when that occurs, people have to turn up their aircon and leave it on longer, and that's adding to cost.
There's a burden on businesses, too. In a 2023 report, the U.S. Congress Joint Economic Committee cited data pointing to more than 2.5 billion hours of lost labor across certain sectors like agriculture, construction, and manufacturing.
These extremes of heat are really impactful. So it does have a somewhat depressing effect on the overall economy.
Extreme heat can also disrupt the airline industry. When air is hot and less dense, planes need less weight or more runway for takeoff. That can lead to bumped passengers or baggage or canceled flights.
There's also a cost to cities across the Midwest and Northeast right now to ramp up and open the doors of cooling centers to help residents. Right now, that includes everywhere from Cleveland to New York City, even Burlington, Vermont, where the heat index could top 100 degrees this week. In Washington, I'm Karen Kafa.
Stocks held steady Tuesday with small gains for the major indexes. The Dow rose 56 points. The NASDAQ composite edged 5 points higher, and S&P 500 was up 13 at the closing bell on Wall Street. Surging demand for NVIDIA computer chips has pushed the tech company past Microsoft to become the most valuable publicly listed company in the world. NVIDIA chips are widely used for AI applications. Its market cap, or total stock market value, jumped to about $3.25 trillion, just enough to edge past Microsoft and Apple. A new study from LendingTree says that more than 18 million Americans are living in homes that stretch their budgets far beyond what's considered financially healthy. Homeowners considered to be in that situation pay more than 30% of their monthly income on housing, including the mortgage, utilities, and other costs. Federal regulators say applesauce pouches contaminated with heavy amounts of lead remained on Dollar Tree store shelves for nearly 2 months after being recalled and linked to hundreds of lead poisonings nationwide. The FDA says in the weeks and months that followed the recall of apple cinnamon fruit puree pouches, public health officials across many states continued to report seeing recalled Wanna Banana apple cinnamon fruit puree pouches on Dollar Tree store shelves. That's it for Consumer Watch. Here's Chris.
Yeah, we've got another hot day out there, but we're starting relatively cloudy. Take a look at the shot from our camera on the Cornell Complex in downtown Joplin. Nothing but clouds, and this is all thanks to some rain from what was a severe complex of storms well out to our west. It's just got enough leading clouds on it that it is giving us a cloudy start to the day, which is also helping keep temperatures a little more manageable. So now, Skywatch Storm Tracker, we're actually seeing a few spotty showers into Bourbon County. The bulk of this activity has almost hit a brick wall right here at Greenwood, Elk, and Chautauqua counties, but Burlington, Yates Center, Eureka, very likely to get at least some more meaningful rainfall as we head later into the morning and afternoon. But again, we are seeing a few spotty showers ahead of this now into Bourbon County. As we head into the afternoon and evening, so again, that cold front stalls out, so this is where the focused rain will be in thunderstorms, and then as we head into the afternoon, get that daytime heating going, we'll see some pop-up showers and storms for the rest of us out there. And again, temperatures this morning Very manageable. We are into the upper 60s and low to mid 70s out there to start the day, where again, folks like Chanute and Neodesha earlier this week starting around 80 degrees at 5 a.m. We'll have more on your forecast, those rain chances and the dangerous heat on the way. We're also going to celebrate birthdays and anniversaries when we come back. Time for some Wednesday birthdays here in the 4 states. We're going to start in Joplin with Shelby Dreiling celebrating birthday number 25. Says happy birthday to the best daughter-in-law in the world.
And heading over to Frontenac, Kansas, Sarah Hall is celebrating her 44th birthday. And a message to her sister and family wish her the happiest birthday.
And down the road in Columbus, Gary Sandberg celebrating birthday number 61. And you can see him here with his grandson, Lane. Happy birthday, Gary.
And in my town, Nellie Higgins of Liberal, Missouri, celebrating the big 100. Happy birthday, Nellie.
Talk about a special milestone there. And then we've got Dylan and Lindsay Meisner celebrating their 3rd wedding anniversary. And here's to many more. Happy anniversary to the Meisner family.
And to Tom and Ann Teely celebrating an anniversary as well, all the way in Columbus, Kansas. Happy anniversary to you too.
And over in Parsons, Christy Murdoch celebrating birthday number 57. A very happy birthday and anniversary to all of those on the list today. We want these lists to be hours long. One of these days we might be able to fill a whole morning show, and the only way that can happen is if you listen to what Anthony has to tell you.
Well, you can just submit your birthdays and anniversaries to birthdays@KOAMnewsnow.com. We'll read them right here live on the air. Just submit your birthdays or your anniversaries to birthdays@KOAMnewsnow.com.
And make sure you meet that deadline on the bottom of your screen. That way your birthday or anniversary, or both perhaps, air on the right day. Let's start with the Skywatch Storm Tracker. There it is. Got some stray showers out here in Bourbon County. Got another one down here near Parsons, and better rain off to our north and west. Unfortunately, here's the story. We've got a stalled cold front, or at least one that's moving very slowly. And it's going to kind of park itself right, let's say, right about here. And once it does, we're going to see, at least for, again, folks, I'm going to give you the best guess here on the best chances for actual meaningful rainfall. It's going to be Burlington, Yates Center, Eureka, maybe as far south as Howard once this front stalls out. Because right now, as you can see, a lot of that rain kind of hitting a brick wall. Almost as if there was a barrier right here along Greenwood, Elk, and Chautauqua counties, and eventually it will start to refire. Now, what's happening out ahead of it is associated with just some of that energy, because this cold front is pulling in energy ahead of it, and that's why we've got the opportunity for the rest of us for some pop-up showers and thunderstorms. So, future track by noon, there's those showers, maybe a couple of thunderstorms, and if you watch the far northwestern counties, you'll see that that cold front is stalled. The rain just kind of trains over the same areas, and then ahead of it, we'll have those isolated pop-up showers and storms. Those will come with the heating of the day. They will die as we lose the heating of the day, but because of that front, folks in Yates Center, for example, you may still deal with some rain showers as we head even late into the evening. Then we'll start our Thursday partly cloudy. Clouds will increase, and most of our Thursday is mostly cloudy, but again, future track showing we could see another round of isolated pop-up showers or storms, but the chances tomorrow much lower than what they are today, and of course, because they're pop-up showers and such, we'll start to lose them once we lose the heating of the day. UV index today, again, is at an 11, which is extreme. Burn time for unprotected skin is less than 10 minutes, so make sure you're taking precautions out there. Minor to moderate heat risk, so in the minor, it's 90 to 95 degree heat index values. The moderate, we're looking at that 95 to 100 range. And that will continue through tomorrow thanks to the clouds. But as we clear out heading into the weekend, well, we have pop-up storm chances through the weekend and into next week. Because they're pop-up storms, it means we're going to spend a lot of days with more sunshine. By Saturday, moderate to major. Major is heat index values potentially 100 to 105. And then once we get into the purple, the extreme, which starts showing up Sunday, and look at Monday, especially in the southeast Kansas, that's heat index values potentially in excess of 105, and that continues into Tuesday across the area. So dangerous heat on the way. So a quick reminder, of course, make sure you're taking your pets on early walks. Keep them indoors otherwise. Keep your kids inside as best you can, especially next week. Can't emphasize that enough. That heat is going to be dangerous and potentially deadly next week. Make sure they're staying hydrated. If you've got to work outside, take frequent breaks, find shade. Make sure you're staying hydrated, and make sure you're checking on the elderly early as well, as they are susceptible to the heat just like our kids are. We're going to have another look at your forecast, plus the news you need to know here in just a moment. And when we switch over to Fox 14 at 7 a.m., China's giant pandas are endangered. We're going to see how scientists are working to help restore their numbers in the wild.
Here's a check at today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. Joplin authorities arrested 19-year-old D.W. Bryant of Joplin for shooting 2 people Monday evening. Police believe Bryant shot 2 men on the 1700 block of South Annie Baxter while trying to steal marijuana from one of them. He then fled the scene but was later found nearby. He was initially arrested for outstanding warrants, but was later determined that he was the suspect in the shootings. Bryant has a criminal history for the armed robbery of a pizza delivery driver. Part of his probation in that case states he cannot possess a firearm. No one was seriously hurt in a traffic accident involving a Jasper County deputy today in Joplin. It happened at the intersection of 7th and Main Street just before 11. Authorities say the driver of a pickup truck failed to yield at the intersection and struck the deputy's vehicle. A federal court judge has sentenced Eric Hedman for receiving and distributing child pornography. Hedman was sentenced to 7 years in federal prison without parole. The court also sentenced Hedman to 10 years of supervised release following incarceration, and Hedman has to register as a sex offender. Hedman, who operated his practice at Hedman Chiropractic at the time of the offense, pleaded guilty on December 14th. That's a check of today's top headlines. Here's Chris with a look at weather.
Yeah, it's going to be another hot one today, upper 80s, so maybe some low 90s, heat index values approaching the mid 90s. Some pop-up showers and storms possible out there. Not everyone will see rain, but some of us will. Those will start to die out as we lose the heating of the day. We'll fall back into the low 70s tonight. Pop-up showers tomorrow, and then we see the heat really take off. Temperatures go into the low, mid, maybe even upper 90s by next week, which puts our heat index values above 100, possibly above 105 next week as well, with some additional pop-up storm chances for most of next week also.
All right, well, coming up today at noon, we're making lemon poppy seed pound cake in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
And your morning news continues on KOAM with CBS Mornings.
Or you can switch over with us on Fox 14, where your only local morning news continues this morning.
And scientists on our show, well, they're not going to be here. They're in a story we're running, are working towards a solution to help increase the wild panda population. We'll have a lot more on that. Make sure you're taking care of yourself in the heat, and especially next week. When we see those heat index values at dangerous, potentially deadly levels, you've got to stay hydrated, stay indoors if you can.
Put sunscreen on.
Keep an eye on everybody.
Yeah.
That's going to wrap it up for us for now. We will see you back here tomorrow morning at 5 a.m.
And we'll see you today at noon.